Hello, and welcome to the Super English Talks. My name is Jara, and today I want to start with a simple question. Think about the sound of your alarm clock. When it goes off in the morning, how does it feel to you? Does it sound like a soft and friendly invitation to begin your day? Or does it feel more like a punishment, something harsh that forces you out of bed? For many people, the alarm clock feels like the enemy. The very first battle of the day is not with work, not with school, not with life. It is a battle with your own bed. And when you begin your day fighting against yourself, how can you expect the rest of the day to feel easy? Today, we're going to talk about something very important. It is something small but powerful. It is about how you begin your morning. This is not just about waking up earlier or drinking coffee. It is about how you experience your first moments of the day, because those moments shape everything that comes after. Before we begin, I want to invite you to join me on this journey. If you want to keep learning, keep growing, and keep improving your life, take 1 second right now to subscribe to our channel. And if you click the little notification bell, you and I can continue learning together, step by step, episode by episode. Now, let's go back to this morning. Think about the very first moment your eyes opened. That quiet space between sleeping and waking. What was the first feeling you had? Did you feel calm, peaceful, and ready? Or did you feel heavy, tired, maybe even worried? For many people, the first feeling is not peace. It is stress. It is that heavy blanket of dread. It is the instant download of your to-do list, the emails you need to answer, the problems you need to solve, the people you need to please. Instead of starting calm, the morning becomes a time of chaos. We grab our phones before we even get out of bed. We check messages, news, and social media. And immediately, we are pulled into the world's problems. Before we even have 1 minute for ourselves, we are already rushing, already worrying, already tired. And so, we drag ourselves into the day. We feel behind before we even begin. We feel rushed, pressured, and sometimes even defeated. But here is the truth. The morning you dream of, the morning that feels calm, peaceful, and full of hope, that morning is not a fantasy. It is possible. And the secret is not complicated. The secret is hidden in the first hour after you wake up. You already have the power to create that kind of morning. You already hold the tools inside you. And today we are going to explore them together. These are simple steps, practical steps, but they can truly change your life. This is not about pretending to be happy. It is not about faking a smile. It is about building real strength and real peace inside you. It is about creating a foundation that will carry you through anything the day may bring. So, right now, wherever you are, take a moment. Sit comfortably. Relax your shoulders. Let them drop away from your ears. Take 1 slow, deep breath with me. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Now, let's begin. To help us understand, I want to introduce you to 2 people. Their names are Alex and Sarah. On the surface, their lives are very similar. Both have busy jobs. Both have families they love. Both have responsibilities, challenges, and the usual pressures of life. But here is the difference. The way they experience their day, the way they feel inside, is completely different. The reason is not what happens to them. The reason is how they begin their morning. Let's look at Alex first. His alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. The sound is loud, sharp, and unpleasant. It cuts into his sleep like a knife. His first thought is always the same. Oh no, not yet. Please, just 5 more minutes. He presses the snooze button. This is his very first decision of the day. And what does this decision mean? It means retreat. It means delay. It means avoiding life, even if only for 9 more minutes. But the alarm comes back again. 9 minutes later, it screams at him again. And what does he do? He presses snooze once more. The cycle repeats. And just like that, Alex begins his day with resistance, with stress, with avoidance. Before he even stands up, he has already told his brain, I don't want this day. I don't want to start. This little battle with the alarm clock does not stop after just one snooze. It happens again and then again. 2, sometimes 3 more times. By now, Alex is not really asleep, and he is not really awake either. He is in that foggy, half-dreaming, half-panicked state that leaves him feeling worse than before. Finally, he knows he is running late. And his very first real action of the day, before his eyes can even focus, is to reach for his phone. His hand stretches automatically toward the nightstand. Without thinking, his thumb swipes across the screen. And instantly, his peace is gone. The very first thing he sees is his work email. There are more than 20 new messages waiting for him. One email, written in capital letters from his boss, is urgent and demanding. It's about a serious problem with a big project. Alex feels his heart start to pound. His chest feels tight. That familiar wave of stress rises in his body. The fight or flight response is switched on, even though he is still sitting in bed. He hasn't even touched the floor with his feet, but already his nervous system is in panic mode. But Alex doesn't stop there. He scrolls through the news. He sees headlines about political arguments that make him angry. He reads a story about a global crisis that makes him feel helpless. He sees an article about rising prices, which makes him worry about his own money. With every swipe, more and more negativity enters his mind. A heavy fog of anxiety begins to wrap itself around his chest. And then, almost as if to punish himself, Alex opens social media. There he sees pictures of a friend on a beautiful tropical vacation. He sees a former colleague announcing a big promotion at work. He sees a happy family posing in front of the brand new home they just bought. Without even realizing it, Alex starts to compare. A quiet but cruel voice whispers in his head, You're not doing enough. Your life is boring. Look how much better everyone else is doing. You are falling behind. Finally, at 7:15 a.m., Alex throws his legs over the side of the bed. The clock tells him that 45 minutes of his morning have already disappeared. And yet, instead of feeling awake or ready, he feels defeated. He hasn't even started, but already, he feels like he has lost the day. He rushes to the shower, but his mind is not in the present moment. It is far away, racing through worries, imagining angry conversations with his boss, stressing about his work, and feeling bitter about his friend's vacation. The warm water runs over his body, but he barely notices it. It could be ice cold, and he would hardly feel the difference. Then Alex heads to the kitchen. He grabs a quick piece of toast and a fast cup of coffee. But he doesn't taste them because once again his eyes are glued to his phone. The scrolling continues. The cycle of stress goes on. He snaps at his children to hurry up, telling them they'll be late. His voice is sharp, impatient, and unkind. He sees the hurt look in their eyes. And now, on top of stress and worry, he feels guilt. Driving to work, the traffic makes him furious. He grips the steering wheel so hard his hands ache. He mutters angry words at other drivers. By the time he walks into the office, he feels drained, like he has already lived through an entire stressful day. And it's not even 9 a.m. For Alex, the day feels like something to survive. It feels like a series of problems to solve, fires to put out, and battles to fight. He moves through the hours not with joy or energy, but with exhaustion and resistance, waiting only for the moment he can collapse at night. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Maybe not every single detail, but perhaps some part of it. The phone pulling you in before you are ready. The rush of stress before you've even had breakfast. The feeling of starting the day already behind. This is the reality for so many of us. And most people don't even realize the deep effect it has, not just on the morning, but on the entire day that follows. Now, let's leave Alex's world for a moment. Let's step into Sarah's morning. Her alarm also rings at 6:30 a.m., but it does not scream like Alex's. It is gentle, a soft sound of bells, rising slowly, guiding her out of sleep instead of shocking her awake. This is not an accident. Sarah chose this sound with care. She knows that the first thing she hears in the morning sets the tone for everything that follows. And there's something else Sarah has chosen differently. Her phone is not by her bed. It is not the first thing her hand can reach for. Instead, it is charging quietly in the kitchen. Her phone has its own place to sleep, and that place is not in her bedroom. For the very first few minutes of her day, Sarah does something that feels almost radical in our modern world. She does nothing. She doesn't reach for her phone. She doesn't start thinking about her tasks or worries. She simply lies in her bed, still and quiet, allowing her body and her mind to gently arrive in the new day. She takes a few slow, deep breaths. A long breath in and a slow breath out. Another breath in and another breath out. That is all. In this moment, she is not rushing. She is not problem-solving. She is simply noticing the fact that she is breathing. She feels her lungs expanding and softening. She remembers that her body is alive and working. And with that simple thought comes a small wave of gratitude. I am alive for another day. This simple act connects her to the present moment. It is not dramatic. It is not complicated, but it changes everything about how she begins. Next, she gently wakes up her body. She stretches her arms high above her head. She points her toes. She feels the energy begin to move through her muscles. It is not just a physical stretch. It is a stretch of gratitude, a little act of kindness to herself. Then, before her feet touch the floor, she does something important. She practices a tiny ritual of gratitude. She names 3 very specific things she feels thankful for in that moment. This morning, her 3 thoughts are: I am grateful for the deep, restful sleep I had last night. My body feels restored. I am grateful for the birds singing outside my window. Their song feels like a free concert. I am grateful for the thought of the delicious tea I am about to make and enjoy. As these thoughts rise, a small smile naturally appears on her face. It is not forced. It is gentle and real. This is not a huge dramatic moment, but it is a powerful choice. She has chosen to begin her day with appreciation instead of worry. Now Sarah gets out of bed. She walks calmly to the kitchen. She pours herself a glass of water and drinks it slowly as she stands by the window. She watches the sky begin to brighten with morning light. As she sips, she imagines the clean water nourishing her body, bringing energy to every single cell. A quiet act of self-care. While her tea is brewing, Sarah might do a few simple stretches. Or she might simply stand at the window, observing the colors of the sky as the day begins. She does not rush. She moves with calm purpose. She is in control of these first, precious minutes of her life. Almost an hour passes before she finally checks her phone. But now her mind is ready. It is not half asleep, weak, or fragile. It is steady, calm, and centered. She has already filled it with gratitude and presence. When she sees the urgent email from her boss, the same kind of email that made Alex panic, her reaction is completely different. She thinks, okay, this is a challenge. I can handle this. I have the focus and the strength to figure it out. When she sees the news, she may feel concerned, but she does not feel helpless. When she sees social media posts of vacations, promotions, and new houses, she does not feel small.
Why?
Because she has already grounded herself in her own value. She has already affirmed her worth through gratitude. She has filled her own cup, so the outside world cannot so easily empty it. She leaves for work feeling calm, focused, and steady. She speaks to her family with warmth and patience. She carries herself with a quiet confidence. For Sarah, the day is not something to survive. It is something to live, to explore, to enjoy. It feels like an opportunity, not a burden. And here lies the real difference between Alex and Sarah. It is not their jobs. It is not their families. It is not their circumstances. The difference is in their practice. Alex begins his day by reacting. He allows his phone, his emails, the news, and social media to set the tone for him. He gives his power away. Sarah begins her day with intention. She fills her morning with breath, gratitude, and presence. She takes her power back. The first hour of your day is often called the golden hour. And there is a very good, very scientific reason for this. When you first wake up, your brain is moving from one state to another. While you are asleep, your brain produces slow waves called delta and theta waves. When you are awake and alert, your brain produces faster waves called alpha and beta waves. Now, in that early period, right after you open your eyes, your brain is in a special in-between state. It is called the alpha state. This is a state of relaxed awareness. It feels a little bit like light meditation or gentle daydreaming. In this state, your subconscious mind is very open, very suggestible. It is soft, like warm clay, ready to be shaped. And whatever you put into your mind during this time, whether it is stress or peace, gratitude or worry, will have an extra powerful effect. It will shape not just your morning, but the way you feel for the rest of your day. This process even has a name. It is called priming. When Alex begins his morning by flooding his brain with stress, bad news, and comparisons, he is priming his brain for negativity. His brain, for the rest of the day, will keep searching for more evidence to match that input. It will look for more problems, more frustrations, more reasons to feel inadequate. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when Sarah begins her morning with gratitude and calm, she is priming her brain for positivity. Her brain will actively scan her environment for good things to notice, solutions to problems, opportunities to grow, and moments of connection. She too creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Only hers leads to more peace and joy. This is why the very first and perhaps most powerful step in starting your day with a positive mindset is to reclaim your morning from your phone. For many of us, the phone is the first thing we touch when we wake up and the last thing we look at before we go to sleep. It has almost become an extra part of our body. But think about what is really happening when you open your phone the moment you wake up. It is like opening your front door and letting 1,000 strangers shout their demands at you while you are still in your pajamas. The news shouts. The emails shout. Social media shouts. Everyone wants your attention before you have even had a chance to breathe. It is overwhelming. It is chaotic. And it is a violation of your personal peace. This is why so many of us begin the day already in a reactive mode. From the very first moment, we are pulled into the world's noise instead of building our own calm. Our day is instantly defined by other people's needs, other people's opinions, other people's problems. Instead of starting from a place of strength, we start from a place of distraction. But here's the truth. Those emails, those messages, those updates, they can all wait. They will still be there an hour later. What cannot wait is your peace of mind. That is fragile. That is precious. And it must be protected, especially in the morning. So I want to give you a small experiment, something simple you can try tonight. Before you go to bed, make one small but powerful change. Find a new place for your phone to sleep. And make sure that place is not your bedroom. Maybe it's the living room. Maybe it's a corner of the kitchen. It doesn't matter where, as long as it is not right next to your pillow. If you use your phone as an alarm clock, don't worry. You can buy a simple, inexpensive alarm clock. They still exist. They only do one job. They wake you up. They don't tempt you with endless distractions. They don't shout the world's problems at you before you're even out of bed. This one small change may feel tiny, but it creates a ripple effect. It creates space for you to begin your day with intention instead of reaction. The goal is simple. Make your bedroom a technology-free sanctuary. We want to create at least a half hour, and ideally a full hour, between the moment your eyes open and the moment you first look at a screen. At first, this will feel strange. You may notice a pull in your thumb. You may get a little twitch, a mental itch to check what you missed. That is normal. It is like withdrawal. It shows how deeply the habit has formed. When that feeling appears, do one gentle thing. Notice it without judging yourself. Say to yourself, "Oh, that is interesting," and let it pass. Don't fight the feeling hard. Just watch it float by like a cloud. Instead of grabbing your phone, try one of Sarah's very simple practices. First, just lie there for a couple of minutes. Yes, just 2 minutes tomorrow. Notice the weight of your body on the mattress. Feel the blanket against your skin. Notice the temperature of the air. Listen to the small sounds of your home. Breathe slowly and gently. This tiny act, doing nothing for a short time, is a strong act of self-respect. It sends a message to yourself. My peace matters more than my notifications. My life and my agenda come before the world's urgent requests. I am in control of my morning. Try this for 1 week. 7 mornings in a row. Just that small change. Watch how you feel at the end of the week. The world will not end if you don't read your first email at 6:31 a.m. But your inner world, your mood, your calm, your energy might begin to change in gentle, beautiful ways. Once you protect that small sacred space of silence, you can choose how to fill it. One of the best things to put there is gratitude. You may have heard the word gratitude many times. Sometimes it can sound shallow or like a trendy idea. But gratitude is much more than a buzzword. It is one of the most well-researched ways to increase happiness, reduce depression, and improve overall well-being. Gratitude is not about ignoring hard things. It is not pretending that problems do not exist. Instead, it is a conscious choice to also notice the good things, however small they might be. Think of your mind like a garden. If you never plant flowers, weeds will grow by themselves. Worries, fears, and complaints are the weeds. They need no effort to appear. Gratitude, joy, and contentment are the flowers. They need planting, watering, and care. A daily gratitude practice is simply planting a few flowers each morning. Over time, the garden of your mind will have more flowers than weeds. This makes it easier to notice the good in your life and to handle the hard things with strength. Let me show you how this helped one person named Maria. Maria was in her late 40s. She had worked at the same company for almost 20 years. Her job was part of who she was. She had friends there. She believed her future was secure. Then, one Tuesday afternoon, she was called into her manager's office. In a short, impersonal way, she was told her job was being cut because of a company restructuring. She was laid off immediately. The news hit her like a storm. Her sense of safety and self-worth broke apart. The first weeks were a blur of shock, sadness, and anger. Every morning, she woke with a heavy weight in her stomach. Her mind would start the same painful loop. How will I pay the mortgage? Who will hire someone my age? I gave 20 years, and this is how they repay me. I am a failure. She spent days watching television or endlessly scrolling job sites. Each unanswered application made her feel more hopeless. This is where a simple morning practice helped to change everything. Maria began, slowly, to build a tiny ritual. Each morning she spent a few quiet minutes without her phone. She breathed deeply. She named 3 small things she was thankful for, not big things, just real, small things from that day. Maybe the warm mug she held. Maybe a kind neighbor. Maybe the fact that she could walk in the park. At first it felt odd and almost meaningless, but she kept doing it, day after day. Gradually, the heavy loop in her mind loosened. She did not lose her grief or her worries. Those were real and valid, but she began to notice small openings of hope. She felt more steady. She slept a little better. When she looked for work, she could write clearer cover letters and speak with more confidence in interviews. That tiny habit helped her remember that she still had value, resources, and choices. Maria's life did not transform overnight. Maria was lucky to have a caring friend who noticed her slipping into a dark place. One afternoon, this friend handed her a plain notebook and a pen. Nothing fancy, just empty pages waiting to be filled. With gentle kindness, her friend said, "I know this might sound silly right now. I know you're hurting, but will you please try this for me? Every morning, before you do anything else, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, it's better if they're small. Just 3 things. Every morning." Maria almost laughed. Grateful? What do I possibly have to be grateful for? I just lost my job, my career, my future. I have nothing. Her friend didn't argue, didn't push too hard. She just placed the notebook in Maria's hands and said, "Please, try it for 1 week. That's all I ask." Maria had nothing left to lose, so she agreed. The first morning was the hardest. She sat at her kitchen table, staring at the blank page. Her mind was a wall of negativity. Every thought screamed, "This is pointless. This is stupid. Gratitude won't pay the bills." But because she had promised, she forced herself to write something. She wrote, 1. This cup of coffee. At least it's hot. 2. The sun is shining today, I guess. 3. My cat is sleeping on my lap and purring. She looked at the page and shook her head. It felt childish. It felt silly. But she had done it. The next morning she tried again. Still difficult. Still awkward. But she wrote down 3 more things. And then she did it the day after that. And the day after that. Something subtle began to happen. Almost invisible at first, but real. The act of having to find 3 good things forced her brain to search for them. She started scanning her world not only for problems, which she was very used to, but also for small positives. She wrote about the sweet taste of a strawberry. She wrote about the comfort of her old sweater. She wrote about a funny conversation she overheard in the grocery store. She wrote about the way the moon had glowed full and round the night before. Each list took no more than 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes were like tiny drops of medicine. After a couple of weeks, Maria noticed a change. The heavy weight in her stomach when she woke up was just a little lighter. Not gone, but lighter. And instead of her very first thought being, "I lost my job," sometimes her first thought was, "I wonder what I'll write in my journal today." That small shift mattered. It was literally retraining her brain. Each morning she was twisting the lens of her inner camera. Before, it had always zoomed in on problems. Now, she was teaching it to also notice beauty, kindness, and possibility, the good that coexisted with the bad. The change inside Maria began to ripple outward into her life. Because she felt a little more hopeful, she had a little more energy. She stopped lying on the couch all day. She started taking long walks in the park near her home, something she hadn't done in years. On those walks, she began to notice things again. The way the trees swayed in the wind, the bright colors of flowers, the sound of children laughing on the playground. She felt more connected to the world around her. One afternoon, on one of these walks, Maria passed a small bakery she had never paid attention to before. In the window was a sign, "Help Wanted." The old Maria, the one stuck in fear and resentment, would never have noticed the sign. Or if she had, she would have dismissed it immediately. That's beneath me. That's not my career. That's not who I am. But the new Maria, the one who was practicing gratitude every morning, the one who was slowly teaching herself to look for opportunities, felt a spark of something she hadn't felt in a very long time. She felt curiosity. She had always loved baking as a hobby. So on a simple impulse, she walked into that bakery and filled out an application. To her surprise, she got the job. It was only part-time, and the pay was nothing compared to her old corporate salary. But Maria found herself smiling in a way she hadn't in years. She loved the earthy smell of fresh bread. She loved the warmth that rolled out of the ovens. She loved the friendly small talk with regular customers. And most of all, she loved the deeply satisfying feeling of creating something beautiful and delicious with her own two hands. That job planted a seed. At home, she started experimenting again with her own recipes, combining her lifelong passion for baking with her new interest in health. She developed treats that were just as delicious as the ones she grew up making, but this time they were gluten-free, filled with natural ingredients and sweetened without refined sugar. 1 year later, Maria took a leap of faith. She used her small savings to rent a booth at the local farmer's market. To her amazement, her healthy baked goods were an instant hit. People lined up every Saturday to buy her muffins, her cookies, her breads. Word began to spread. Eventually, she opened her own small cafe. She called it the Grateful Loaf. It was never the kind of glamorous corporate career she once thought defined her worth. But it was hers. And it was deeply fulfilling. She was working harder than ever before, but for the first time, her work fed both her body and her soul. When people asked her the secret to her success, how she managed to start over in her late 40s, how she found joy after losing everything she thought she needed, Maria would often smile, hold up a worn-out notebook with bent corners and fading ink, and say, "It all started here, with the discipline of being grateful for one hot cup of coffee." Maria's story shows us something important. Gratitude is not a passive feeling you sit around waiting for. Gratitude is an active practice. It's a muscle you can build. Gratitude doesn't magically erase your problems, but it does something just as powerful. It shifts your inner state. It makes you more creative, more resilient, more resourceful. It pulls your focus away from what's missing in your life and grounds you in what's already here. When you start your day with gratitude, you send a powerful message to your brain. There is goodness here. There is beauty here. There is enough. And because your brain is like a loyal assistant, it starts scanning the world for proof. Suddenly, you notice the kindness of a stranger holding the door for you. You notice the beauty of the clouds forming shapes in the sky. You taste your lunch and actually notice how good it is. These little pieces of joy were always there. But when your mind is stuck in survival mode, like Alex's rushed, anxious mornings, you can't see them. Gratitude gives you back that vision. So, how do you begin your own gratitude practice? It can be as simple as Maria's. Find a notebook, any notebook. Place it by your bed tonight. And tomorrow morning, before your feet touch the floor, write down 3 to 5 specific things you are grateful for. Specificity is the key. Don't just write, "I'm grateful for my family." That can become hollow and repetitive. Instead, go deeper. Write things like, "I'm grateful for the way my son laughed so hard at breakfast yesterday, that pure sound of joy." Or, "I'm grateful for the supportive text my sister sent me right when I needed it." As you write each one, pause. Let yourself actually feel the gratitude in your body. Notice the warmth of it, the softening of it. And if writing doesn't feel right for you, there are other ways. You might use a gratitude rock. Find a small, smooth stone that feels good in your hand. Place it by your bed. And when you wake up, let your very first act be to hold it and think of one thing, just one, that you are grateful for. Hold the stone in your hand. Feel its texture. Feel its weight. As you notice it, think of 3 things you are grateful for. The physical touch of the stone becomes a gentle reminder, a tangible anchor for your mental practice. It connects your body to your mind, making gratitude feel real and present. You don't have to use a stone if that doesn't work for you. You can simply do it in your mind. Lie in bed and quietly, mentally list the things you are grateful for. Or you can make it a shared practice. If you have a partner, you might start your day together by saying, "Good morning. One thing I'm grateful for today is," even a simple moment like that creates a warm connection and starts your day with positivity. Let's try a small exercise right now. Wherever you are, pause for just a moment. Think of one thing in your life, right now in this moment, that you are genuinely grateful for. It could be something big, or it could be something incredibly small. Maybe it's the chair you're sitting on, holding and supporting your body. Maybe it's the technology that's letting you hear this message. Or maybe it's something as simple as the miraculous beating of your heart, steady, reliable, and completely unnoticed until now. Now, close your eyes if it feels comfortable. Focus on that one thing. Say to yourself, in your mind or out loud, "I am so grateful for fill in the blank." Notice the physical feeling of gratitude. Perhaps it's a warmth in your chest. Perhaps your shoulders soften. Maybe your mind feels quieter, just for a moment. That small, warm, peaceful feeling is what you are choosing to invite into your life every morning. It is a quiet internal revolution. It begins inside you and slowly transforms how you experience the world around you. Do not underestimate the power of this simple, consistent practice. It is the unshakable foundation upon which a positive day is built. Once we have protected our morning peace from the noise of technology and planted seeds of gratitude, the next essential step is to ground ourselves in the present moment. This is where mindfulness comes in. When most people hear mindfulness or meditation, they imagine someone sitting perfectly still in a quiet room, legs crossed, for an hour, with a completely empty mind. That image can feel intimidating, unrealistic, even a little strange. The good news is, mindfulness doesn't have to be complicated or long. At its core, mindfulness is simply paying attention to the present moment on purpose, without judgment. It's about stepping out of the chaotic traffic of your thoughts, the regrets of the past, the worries about the future, and gently noticing what is happening right here, right now. Our minds are natural time machines. They pull us backward into past regrets, guilt, or sadness. They pull us forward into future anxiety, worry, or stress. But the present moment is the only place we truly live. It is the only place where peace and calm exist. A morning mindfulness practice trains our wandering minds to return home, to the present, again and again. Let's look at David's story. David was a loving father of two young children. He worked as a software engineer, a job that demanded long hours and constant focus. Every morning felt like a whirlwind, making breakfast, packing lunches, finding lost shoes, mediating sibling squabbles, and trying to get everyone out the door on time. He loved his family deeply, but he felt like he had no time for himself. His mind was always racing, computer code snippets, looming project deadlines, an endless list of household chores. He had heard about meditation and mindfulness, but the idea of even 10 quiet minutes seemed laughable. There simply weren't enough minutes in the morning for himself. David would often joke to his wife, a cynical laugh in his voice. Quiet minutes? I don't even have quiet seconds. He was perpetually burnt out. The stress he carried spilled over into his life. He noticed it in little ways. His patience with his children was thinner, his focus at work was slipping. He was slowly becoming the impatient, irritable father he never wanted to be. One day, while listening to a podcast much like this one, he heard about micro-mindfulness. The idea was simple and revolutionary for him. You don't need long meditation sessions to benefit. You can find short, intentional moments, just a minute or two, scattered throughout your day. The speaker suggested starting with something you already do every morning. For David, that one constant was his morning cup of coffee. Usually, he drank it while standing over the kitchen sink, checking emails on his phone, listening to the news on the radio, and trying to hurry his kids along. The coffee was purely functional, a tool to get caffeine into his system as quickly as possible. The next morning, he tried something different. He woke up 5 minutes earlier than the rest of the family, a small but meaningful sacrifice. He made his coffee as usual, but instead of bringing it into the chaos of the kitchen, he carried it to the living room window. The soft morning light was just beginning to fill the room. For 2 minutes, he gave himself permission to do nothing else but experience his coffee. He held the warm mug in his hands, noticing its heat against his palms. He brought it to his nose, inhaling the rich, comforting aroma. He took his first sip and paid attention to the complex taste spreading across his tongue. He felt the warmth as it traveled down his throat. Inevitably, his mind drifted. Did I remember to email that client? Did I pack a snack for my daughter? Each time this happened, he didn't scold himself. He simply guided his attention back to the coffee, back to the warmth, back to the taste, back to the smell. It was only 2 minutes, 120 seconds. But for David, it felt like a revelation. For the first time in years, he had given himself undivided attention. A tiny island of calm in a vast ocean of chaos. He started doing this every morning. This small ritual fundamentally changed his days. Because he began his morning centered, he found himself slightly more patient when his daughter couldn't find her favorite socks. Because his mind was less cluttered from the start, he could focus better on complex coding problems at work. His 2-minute coffee mindfulness became an anchor, a quiet reminder that he could step out of the chaos and into calm at any moment. Soon, David discovered other micro-moments throughout the day. Mindfully washing his hands, noticing the warm water and the texture of the soap. Taking 3 slow, intentional breaths in the car before walking into a stressful meeting. David didn't add a massive, time-consuming habit to his already overflowing life. He transformed moments he already had into opportunities for peace. David's story teaches an important lesson. Mindfulness can and should be integrated into your life as it exists. Your morning, your day, is already full of these opportunities, small windows of calm just waiting to be claimed. You don't have to add anything new. You just have to shift your attention. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to practice mindfulness in the morning is through your breath. Your breath is always with you, from the moment you are born until your final moments. It is a direct and faithful anchor to the present moment. Let's try a very short practice together. Wherever you are, get comfortable. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze softly to the floor. Now, bring your full attention to the feeling of your breath. Don't try to control it or change it. Just notice it. Notice the air as it enters your nostrils. Perhaps it feels slightly cool. Notice your chest or belly gently rising as you breathe in and falling as you breathe out. Follow one full breath all the way in and all the way out, and then another. Inevitably, your mind will wander. It's what minds do. You might think about your to-do list, a conversation from yesterday, or something you need to remember. When you notice your mind has wandered, gently and kindly, without judgment or frustration, bring your attention back to the sensation of your breath. The act of returning is the practice itself. Let's take 3 more cycles together. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time. A deep, calming inhale and a long, slow exhale. Now, when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Even just a minute of focused breathing can calm your nervous system and bring a sense of clarity and space to your mind. You can do this for 1, 3, or 5 minutes as soon as you wake up. It's a wonderful way to check in with yourself before you check in with the world. Another simple morning mindfulness practice is to connect with your body. So often, we live entirely in our heads, using our bodies only to carry our brains around. A body scan can help you reconnect and feel grounded. As you lie in bed in the morning, bring curious and kind attention to your toes. Notice any sensations there, no need to do anything. Slowly move your attention to the soles of your feet, your ankles, your lower legs, your knees. Continue patiently, part by part, all the way up your body. Notice each area, without judgment. This practice helps you fully inhabit your body and start the day grounded and present. Or, like David did with his coffee, you can practice mindfulness with your first glass of water, noticing the coolness, the weight of the glass, the act of drinking. Any simple morning ritual can become a powerful opportunity to anchor yourself in the present. Feel the coolness and smoothness of the glass in your hand. Notice how clear the water is. As you take a sip, imagine it nourishing your body, waking you up gently, and cleansing you from the inside out. The point of these practices is the same: to interrupt the automatic pilot of your mind. We spend so much of our lives reacting on autopilot, lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. These small practices, mindful breathing, a few moments of stillness, or simply noticing your coffee or water, help you step out of your head and into your senses. They help you begin the day in the present moment, which is the only place where true calm and clarity can be found. Pick one of these small practices for yourself. Maybe it's 5 mindful breaths. Maybe it's a slow, deliberate sip of tea or coffee. Commit to trying it every morning for a week. See it not as another task on your to-do list, but as a gift you are giving to yourself, a gift of presence, of calm, and of care. By now, you have done 3 important things. You have created a quiet, screen-free space for yourself in the morning. You have filled that space with the gentle, uplifting energy of gratitude. You have grounded yourself in the present moment through mindfulness. These 3 steps are the foundational pillars of a truly positive morning. Now, we can add another layer, one that is creative, subtle, and profoundly powerful: the practice of setting an intention for your day. What exactly is an intention? An intention is not the same as a goal or a to-do list. Goals and tasks are focused on doing. They are about what you want to achieve: finishing a big report, going to the gym, making 5 sales calls. These are often necessary, but they can also create pressure, stress, or a sense of pass or fail. An intention, on the other hand, is about being. It is about the energy you want to bring to your day, about how you want to show up in the world, no matter what happens. It is a guiding principle for your actions, words, and attitude. For example, your intention could be to be patient, to listen with curiosity, to move through your day with kindness, to notice small moments of joy. An intention is like a compass for your heart. Throughout the day, when you face challenges, frustrations, or decisions, you can ask yourself, what would be the most patient way to respond here? How can I listen with curiosity in this conversation? It helps you navigate your day with purpose and grace, instead of just reacting automatically to whatever comes your way. Let's consider the story of Emily, a university student preparing for her final exams. Emily was bright, dedicated, and hardworking, but she put immense pressure on herself to be perfect. Every morning, she would wake up with a knot in her stomach. Her mind would immediately fill with a long, stressful to-do list. I have to read 3 chapters of history and memorize all the dates. I have to solve 50 calculus problems perfectly. I must review all my chemistry notes. I have to get a perfect score on every exam. The day felt heavy before it even began. She was already tense, anxious, and overwhelmed before she had even picked up a book. By learning to set an intention instead of focusing only on tasks, Emily could start her day differently. Instead of stressing about everything she had to do, she could begin with a guiding principle for how she wanted to feel and act, calm, focused, and confident. This simple shift, from reacting to lists and pressure to starting with intention, can completely change the way you experience your day. Emily's mindset made studying feel miserable. It was full of anxiety and pressure. Her mind was constantly racing, worrying about the outcome instead of paying attention to the present moment. She was so focused on the goal of getting perfect grades that she completely missed the joy of learning itself. Her love for her subjects, once natural and effortless, was now replaced with stress and dread. One day, her wise professor noticed her visible tension in class. He asked to speak with her privately. "Emily," he said kindly, "you know the material inside and out. The pressure you're feeling isn't coming from the books. It's coming from inside you. Tomorrow morning, I want you to try something different." Emily looked puzzled. "Instead of making a list of everything you have to do," he continued, "I want you to set an intention for how you want to be today." Emily didn't understand at first, so he explained further. Instead of focusing only on the grade, the external result, what if you set your mind on learning with curiosity? What if you approached your books not as enemies to be conquered, but as fascinating worlds to explore? This was completely new to Emily. The next morning, the usual wave of anxiety came. But she remembered her professor's advice. She sat on the edge of her bed, took a few deep breaths, and said to herself, "Okay, today my intention is simply to learn with curiosity." She wrote it down on a small sticky note and placed it on her laptop, where she would see it all day. As she opened her history book, instead of thinking, "I have to memorize all these dates," she consciously shifted her focus. "I wonder what it was really like to live in this time. I'm curious about these people's real stories." When she moved to her challenging calculus problems, instead of panicking about the right answers, she thought, "This is like a fascinating puzzle. I'm curious to see how these pieces fit together." This small shift in mindset was transformative. The heavy weight of pressure slowly lifted from her shoulders. She found herself more focused, more engaged, and, to her surprise, actually enjoying the process of studying again. When she encountered a difficult concept, she would glance at the note on her laptop and remind herself, "Learn with curiosity." This simple reminder allowed her to approach challenges with a sense of playful exploration, rather than fear or anxiety. In the end, Emily did exceptionally well on her exams. But more importantly, she learned a valuable life lesson. How you approach a task is often more important than the task itself. By setting an intention, Emily brought her best self, her curious, engaged, creative self, to her work instead of her stressed, fearful self. Setting an intention is a simple but powerful practice. After your gratitude practice or mindful breaths, take a quiet moment to ask yourself, how do I want to be today? What energy do I want to bring to my day? It can be helpful to think of a single word: patience, kindness, focus, courage,
peace, joy.
Choose a word that resonates with what you feel you need most that particular day. Some days you might need courage to face a difficult conversation. Other days, you might need patience to handle a busy morning or a challenging task. By consciously choosing the quality you want to bring to your day, you guide your actions, words, and mindset, shaping your experiences from the very start. Other days, you might feel that what you need most is peace. Peace to calmly navigate a busy, chaotic schedule. There is no right or wrong intention. It is a personal guide for your own heart and soul. You can say your intention out loud to give it a voice. You can write it down and place it somewhere you'll see it during the day. Or you can simply hold it quietly in your heart as you begin your morning. When you set an intention, you are no longer a passive passenger, drifting along with the random events of your day. Instead, you become an active co-creator of your experience. You decide in advance the energy you want to bring into the world. Here are a few examples to make it more concrete. If your intention is kindness, you might let someone go ahead of you in traffic, give a genuine compliment to a colleague, or be gentle and forgiving with yourself when you make a mistake. If your intention is presence, you might put your phone away during lunch, truly listen to the person you're with, notice the colors of the sky on your walk, or mindfully enjoy the taste of your food. Setting an intention doesn't mean challenges will disappear. A difficult email might still arrive. Your child could still have a tantrum. Your car might still get a flat tire. But an intention acts as an anchor. It gives you a moment, a precious pause, between a stimulus and your reaction. Instead of automatically responding with anger or stress, you can pause, remember your intention, and choose a conscious, positive, and constructive response. Let's try this together for a moment. Think about the day ahead. Ask yourself, what is one quality, one word, that would help me move through today with ease and grace? It could be calm, strength, patience, playfulness,
joy.
Hold that word in your mind for a moment. Imagine carrying it with you all day, like a secret superpower that you can call upon whenever you need it. This is the power of intention. A single word, a simple thought, a gentle focus, yet it can shift your entire day. It is a quiet whisper to your soul, guiding you toward a more positive and purposeful day. Now that we have nurtured our inner world, our mind and our spirit, it's time to honor the body, the essential connection between our thoughts and our physical self. A positive mindset isn't just about thinking happy or mindful thoughts. It is deeply connected to how our body feels. You could do all the gratitude exercises and mindfulness practices in the world, but if your body is tired, stiff, dehydrated, or sluggish, it becomes much harder to feel awake, energetic, and positive. The final pieces of a truly positive morning are simple, primal, and essential. Hydration and movement. This is not about long, punishing workouts or strict diets. It is about lovingly and respectfully waking up your body, which in turn awakens your mind and heart. Let's start with the simplest and most basic one: hydration. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. While you were sleeping, you lost water through breathing and perspiration, even if you didn't notice. Drinking water first thing in the morning is a gentle act of self-care. It refreshes your system, helps wake up your organs, and gives you energy for the day ahead. Even mild dehydration can affect us more than we realize. It can make us feel tired, sluggish, and foggy. It can give us headaches or make our mood lower. Many mornings, when we wake up feeling tired, grumpy, or irritable, it's not always a lack of sleep or motivation. Often, what our body really needs is something simple and life-giving, a glass of water. Drinking water first thing in the morning is one of the kindest things you can do for your body. Think of it not as a chore, but as a beautiful, sacred ritual, a moment to care for yourself and start your day with intention. When you drink your water, try to do it mindfully. Don't just gulp it down. Notice the feeling of the cool, clean water in your hands and in your mouth. Imagine it waking up every single cell in your body, flushing out sleepiness and helping your organs feel fresh and energized. Picture it hydrating your brain, helping you think more clearly, creatively, and calmly. You can make this ritual even more special if you like. A squeeze of fresh lemon adds flavor, alkalinity, and vitamin C. Warm water can feel soothing to your stomach and gently wake up your digestive system. The key is the intention behind your action. You are not just drinking water. You are consciously giving your body something essential, something it truly needs. You are saying to yourself, I am worthy of care. My health matters. My body deserves this attention. Once you have hydrated, the next important step is movement. After many hours of sleep, your body may feel stiff, tight, or creaky. Gentle movement is like putting oil in the joints. It lubricates your muscles, gets your blood flowing, and brings fresh oxygen to your brain and organs. It also releases endorphins, your body's natural chemicals for boosting mood and reducing discomfort. This doesn't mean you need to run miles or do a high-intensity workout unless you genuinely enjoy it. For many of us, intense exercise first thing in the morning is overwhelming and discouraging. Instead, focus on gentle, mindful, joyful movement that feels good in your body. Even 5 minutes of stretching can make a huge difference. Reach your arms high above your head. Imagine you are creating space in your body and your life for positivity. Fold forward slowly, letting your head hang heavy. Imagine you are releasing tension, stress, and worry from the night. Move slowly and mindfully, connecting each movement with your breath. Notice how your body feels as it stretches and wakes up. Let's check in with Liam's story. Liam worked at a desk for 8 to 10 hours every day. He often felt stiff in his neck, sore in his lower back, and generally tired and sluggish in the mornings. He didn't like exercise. He saw it as boring, painful, and only for other people. His mornings were a repeat of the same routine. He would roll out of bed, shuffle to the coffee machine like a zombie, feel groggy, and start the day completely uninspired. This is a common experience. Many of us move through our mornings on autopilot, feeling disconnected from our bodies and our energy. But even small, mindful movements can change everything. They help your body feel alive, energized, and ready to face the day. When combined with hydration, mindfulness, and gratitude, these small acts of care create a powerful foundation for a positive, focused, and energized morning. A friend suggested that Liam try just a few minutes of movement in the morning. At first, he resisted immediately. I'm not a yoga person, he said, feeling defensive. His friend smiled and replied, It's not about yoga. It's not about exercise. It's just about moving. Put on a song you love and move however you feel for just 3 or 4 minutes. Liam was a big fan of classic rock music. The next morning, feeling a little silly and self-conscious. Even though he was alone, he put on one of his favorite upbeat songs. At first, he just stood there, feeling awkward. But as the music played, something shifted. The rhythm started to take over. He tapped his foot. He shrugged his shoulders. He stretched his arms wide. He even did a few silly, uncoordinated dance moves. By the end of the song, he was laughing at himself. He noticed something surprising. He was breathing a little deeper and his body didn't feel quite as stiff. He tried it again the next morning and the day after that. His 5-minute morning dance party became a non-negotiable and joyful ritual. It wasn't about exercise or burning calories. It was an expression of joy and freedom. This simple, playful movement completely transformed his energy. He started arriving at work feeling more awake, more positive, and even noticed that his chronic back pain began to ease. The lesson is simple. Morning movement doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. What matters is that it feels good for your body and your mind. Your morning movement could look like Liam's, putting on a favorite song and dancing however you feel. Or it could be 5 to 10 minutes of gentle stretching. It could be a few yoga poses or a short walk outside. Even a 10-minute walk in the morning can feel magical. Fresh air on your skin, sunlight warming your face, the sounds of the world waking up around you. It's energizing, calming, and grounding all at once. The key is to choose something enjoyable, or at least something that feels nourishing to your body. Don't force yourself to do exercises you dislike. This isn't punishment. It's a loving way to start your day. Right now, take a moment and imagine, what is one simple way you could move your body for 5 minutes tomorrow morning? Could you stretch while waiting for your tea to brew? Could you do a few squats while brushing your teeth? Could you put on a favorite song and sway to it in your living room? Pairing your morning hydration with gentle movement gives your body and mind a powerful boost. It's a way of telling yourself, deep in your cells, I am energized. I am alive. I am ready for today. These small acts of care, done consistently, set a foundation for a positive, focused, and joyful day, long before the rest of the world demands your attention. Now we've gone through all the key elements of a positive morning routine, creating a screen-free space, practicing gratitude, grounding yourself with mindfulness, setting an intention, and energizing your body with water and movement. You might be thinking, this all sounds wonderful, but how am I supposed to fit it into my already busy, chaotic morning? This is an important and practical question. The answer is simple but crucial. You don't have to do everything every day. The goal isn't to create another source of stress or another list of things you can fail at. The goal is to build a toolkit of small practices, a menu of options that you can choose from depending on the day and the time you have. The most important principle is to start ridiculously small. Don't try to transform your entire morning overnight. That is a guaranteed way to feel overwhelmed and give up. Instead, pick one thing. Maybe for the first week, your only goal is to not look at your phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. That's it. That is your entire practice. That is your victory. Or maybe you keep your phone routine, but you add the practice of writing down 3 things you are grateful for. Just that one thing. Do it for a week or 2 until it feels natural, easy, and even enjoyable. Once that habit is established, you can add another small piece. Maybe 5 mindful breaths after your gratitude practice. A few weeks later, you might add a glass of water and some gentle stretches. This is how sustainable, lifelong change happens. Not through giant, heroic leaps that burn out quickly, but through small, consistent, gentle steps taken over time. It is far better to do one small positive thing consistently than to try 10 things for 2 days and then quit. Be patient and compassionate with yourself in this process. And let go of the idea of the perfect morning. Some days you will oversleep and have to rush. Some days a child will be sick or need your immediate attention. Some days you'll wake up feeling anxious, sad, or just plain awful. On these days, don't beat yourself up. Life is messy and unpredictable. The goal isn't perfection. It's intention and consistency over time. On difficult days, think about the minimum effective dose. What is the smallest possible thing you can do that still honors your intention to start the day well? Sometimes it's one conscious deep breath before you get out of bed. Sometimes it's thinking of one thing you are grateful for as you rush to the car. That one breath, that one grateful thought, can be a tiny anchor that stops your whole day from spiraling into stress or negativity. Remember, this is a practice, not a performance. No one is grading you. This is an act of loving kindness you are doing for yourself. Some days your practice will be long, luxurious, and beautiful. Other days it will be short, messy, and imperfect. Both are perfectly okay. Both are equally valid. Think of it like building a house. You start with a small foundation, brick by brick, day by day. Some days the work is easy. Some days it's messy. But over time, with patience, consistency, and care, you'll build a strong, beautiful, lasting home. A morning routine that supports a calm, positive, and energized life. Think of your well-being and your inner peace as a house. The foundation of this house needs to be strong so that it can withstand the inevitable storms of life. Life will always bring challenges, stressful deadlines, difficult conversations, unexpected problems, and moments of heartache. You cannot avoid these storms, but you can build a solid foundation to protect yourself. Each of the practices we've talked about, gratitude, mindfulness, intention, and movement, is like a strong stone that you place in the foundation of your day. Every time you do one of these practices, you are carefully adding a stone to your house. The more consistently you do these things day after day, the stronger your foundation becomes. When the storms come, your house will stand firm. You will have a solid base of inner peace, resilience, and strength to return to. You will be less likely to be knocked off balance by what happens outside because you have built your own shelter, stone by stone. This journey is not about creating a life with no problems. That is impossible. Life will always bring difficulties. Instead, it is about creating a mindset and an inner state that is strong, flexible, and resourceful enough to handle those challenges with grace, wisdom, and courage. Your mornings hold the key to your entire day. How you spend the first hour of your day often determines the quality, mood, and outcomes of the next 23 hours. Every day you have a choice. You can give your power away to your phone, the news, or other people's demands. If you do that, you will start your day feeling reactive, stressed, and behind. Or you can claim that power for yourself. You can choose to start your day with intention, peace, gratitude, and self-care. You can choose to be like Sarah instead of Alex. The change doesn't require money or a lot of time. It only requires a decision. A decision to prioritize your well-being. A decision to believe that you are worthy of a peaceful and positive start to your day. It starts with one small step, one conscious breath, one grateful thought, 1 minute without your phone. That's all it takes to begin. So I ask you again, the question we began with, how will your day start tomorrow? What is one small, kind thing you can do differently just for yourself? I encourage you to choose one practice we talked about today and try it for a week. Be curious and playful about it. See it as an experiment in your own happiness and well-being. Remember, you are the artist of your life, and your morning is a fresh, blank canvas. You have the power to paint it with colors of peace, joy, and positivity. Every small choice, every small action adds beauty to your day. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Super English Talks. It has been a pleasure to share this time and space with you. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to take control of your mornings. By doing so, you can transform your entire day and gradually transform your life. If you found this helpful and want to continue learning and growing with us, please subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any future episodes. We have so much more to share with you on your journey to improving your English and living a fuller, happier life. My name is Jara, and I wish you a beautiful day, starting with a truly beautiful morning tomorrow.